Okay, so when he was showing us the graph with all the little circles on it, I thought it was really interesting. A lot of Africa just kind of skyrocketed up, and he showed how the different countries in Africa, like some dropped dramatically while others were going down more slowly, and it was just surprising to me where the ones that were dropping really quickly were because there were more people dying, and the ones that were going down more slowly is because they had a better economy and had more money to be able to treat the HIV. And I'll let you guys go into more detail.
I just thought it was interesting how he talked about how we need to look at countries, especially in Africa, as individual countries and not just based off that they're in Africa with the HIV/AIDS, because a lot of African countries that we might think would be very high with HIV actually aren't. They're actually at the same level as we are in the world, at that 1% level. And I thought it was just a good point to make that just like our different cities in our country are so different, that the countries in Africa are completely different as well. And our brother Meeker also mentioned the difference in religion and different cultures and economies of all the different countries in Africa are so different. So we should definitely consider the country instead of just the continent.
So a few thoughts that I had from the video is, first off, I thought about that boy that we watched in Time for School. He was shunned by his community because his mom was suspected from dying from AIDS, and I thought of that because the rate of HIV and AIDS was high in parts of Africa, but and the people, it was not culturally acceptable to have this, which I just thought was interesting dynamic. Another thing that I noticed about the graph we were watching is that the orange show like Russia and like Northern Europe. Some parts of it had high areas with HIV and AIDS, but a lot of those areas actually did not have a high prevalence, and I was wondering what was different about those countries, what they're doing differently from our continent, from Africa and all these different places. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was the difference in money. HIV and AIDS wasn't necessarily it didn't necessarily correlate with how much money you made. When they took countries apart, they saw that HIV and AIDS was actually almost higher with people that had more money, and I was also wondering, it made me start to think about why that is, and why it isn't as prevalent with people in poverty as it is in other places.
I thought it was interesting how we broke apart, I think it was Kenya, into just these different, like, I guess, neighborhoods, or whatever it was, how some were really low, and then there was one that ended up like way almost in the top of the charts, like, so that kind of leads me to think about something that has to do with like your cultural area, like what's acceptable, what's the social norm. Brother Meeker brought up how AIDS is probably really low here in a place like BYUI, because of the church and our standards and the law testing and everything, but somewhere at another campus it might be really high, just kind of like the same as Kenya. Some parts are really low, some parts are really high, but it's still all in the same country. So I think it's interesting. I really thought how it would be grouped together like that. I thought it was just AIDS was really high in all of Africa, everywhere. But it turns out that's not really the case.
Exactly. So as we all know, that HIV and AIDS is definitely something that none of us really ever want. It's a serious infection that really can hurt and even kill people. And it's, as we've discussed, it is spread upon the world. It's upon your standards and who you are. And I know that some people are forced to have sexual intercourse, but there are a lot of people who are able to choose whether they want to go that route or keep their standards. And something that was so interesting to me is that there's a lot of people that can say no to receiving HIV because either they know that that person has it or they just use protection. And so something that he was talking about here is just also making sure that you have those standards of making sure that you're protected before you do any of that, because we know that HIV is something very something that is very threatening to your own life and also to your family. And so I thought it was interesting how he also gave us that warning of keeping your standards and making sure that it's not only just in Africa, but it is all over the world. We need to be careful with what we do with that.